This is likely one of the more expensive combinations we've run.
Yep.
So the Civilian 416, Mr. 556.
150. Impact. Impact. That's neutralized.
And we are shooting this entire segment non-dial scopes, sort of like what you would run as...
Yeah, traditional LPVO, you're not dialing the turrets, you're using the reticle.
Right.
All right, I'm on it too. Impact. Neutralized.
Very clear optics. I saw where the impacts were.
Mm-hmm.
That first one was a bit low, and then I just adjusted it back, and it was exactly where I pointed it.
Perfect. 250. Impact. Neutralized. Nice shots on that one too.
Nice. I could feel a little bit more recoil on the piston-driven system.
Yeah.
It's also there's no muzzle brake though.
And,
so
you're running a 77 load, so a bit hotter.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a couple things that feed towards it to have this type of recoil.
Okay. 300.
That being said, it's not incredible recoil at all.
Impact. Neutralized. 350.
Okay.
Impact. Neutralized. Dang, dude. This thing is cleaning house right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also low wind today.
Yep.
Crystal clear optics. Highly reliable system.
77 grain load.
77 grain load, stainless steel match barrel.
Let's see if we carry it out the rest of the way, eh?
Again, I mean, this is actually half the price of an M110.
400.
A slight breeze.
Mm-hmm. Picked up just a little bit left to right. Impact. Neutralized. Those were on the right half of the plate, as you saw.
Yeah, I was favoring all the way to the left edge. I think I need a little bit more than that
Just
for
a tiny bit
farther
more.
out targets.
Yep. All right, we're on at 450. Impact.
It was a little low, right?
Low left side, I think. Off the right edge. Good elevation, or decent enough. It's on the lower third of the plate on the center. That was for sure.
That was me. Because earlier we were saying when the slight breeze came in,
Oh, you're holding
you were
off.
saying it was impacting to the right, so I pushed it, and when we felt the breeze died down, I pushed it farther to the left.
Oh.
So it was me.
Well, my point is we're reaching the point where the 70, so even 556 can get a little bit difficult to call on the heavier blades. All right, let's send it at 5.
500 ready.
Yep. Impact. But yeah, low. Good hit. Center punch.
All right.
Nice.
I mean, that was actually, I don't know. Do you think that would have? You think that's a high score? If we're shooting at a smaller target like that, at 100, 200, I'd even say 300, you really don't need 77s.
No, not at all.
If you're able to judge wind, if you're able to compensate for wind, you're fine with 55 with some practice.
Right, because the wind really is only going to come into play on that size of a target around, what, 300-ish?
Right.
250, 300, you'll start seeing it a little bit.
Right.
Depending upon the strength of the wind, I suppose.
So, I guess when we're going back to the discussion, whether we run 77s or 55s, I mean, a lot of times we're trying to figure out, what people using a certain setup would more likely be running.
Right.
So we're looking at $4,700 worth of rifle.
Yep.
I mean, it's likely to say that they would be...
Yeah, you're also going to be using a premium ammunition.
Right,
Yeah.
so...
That's why we shot it with this setup.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Now, with that said, how does the scoring differentiate with 55s? I mean, we're in a low wind day.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything is going for the advantage of this rifle right now. It was an easy course. I mean, the 450 that I missed, that was on me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Now the HK trigger it's a 2-stage trigger, a 2-stage match trigger that they put into this. I would say there's a wall. You hit the wall for sure for the 2-stage wall. If I were to rate this against Geisley SSAE, I take the Geisley over this trigger, but this also comes standard with it. That being said, the standard rifle costs $3,500, so
yeah, you'd expect it to have a match trigger in it, or at least some sort of an upgrade there.
Now HK did do these things where their takedown pins actually lock the upper and lower halves a little more. The stock right here, actually, I do like their design because it facilitates the use of a rear bag a lot more. I did not use a rear bag because, again, I wanted to simulate more field conditions. But unlike the M4, you know how you press up and then you pull back. So if you're using a rear bag, it's inconvenient. This, you actually have to press inwards to where the side actually still guards it. And so you can actually use a rear bag very easily.
And it has the shelf, the ledge and the shelf,
Yes.
very similar to like what the Cobalt stock has on it, where it has a ledge and a shelf.
You could also use, they call it the takedown tool, but it really is just an Allen wrench.
Yeah.
You can use the Allen wrench, the Allen key in the front, in the back stock to also lock down the stock, so it doesn't facilitate any movement. So at the end of the day, when you're shooting it, it feels like any other AR. It's not your off-the-shelf, cheapest AR, for sure.
Right.
It performs.
Yeah, it's a high-performance build.
It's a high-performance build. Yes, it is. But then, just keep in mind, there are certain things that you expect from it, and there are certain things that you can rely on it to do. That extra money goes towards exactly that. You can rely on it to do certain things. Now, do you have to use this? I mean, technically, you could go off-roading with a Porsche Cayenne. In the same price bracket, you also have things like your LSA that you shot earlier. The one thing that the H&K suffers is the weight. Adding a piston system in the front will add to that weight. I believe, is that a medium contour barrel?
Yes.
I think this is
full medium contour.
I think the stainless on this is a little heavier than that too.
It's both 16s, right?
The main difference between these two is, to be honest, it's direct impingement versus the piston-driven system.
Yeah.
And for a competitor, you have no use for a piston-driven system.
Right. Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, you would value the light front
and
instead.
Ability to not have as many moving components to it, like piston systems for recoil. I know you mentioned it briefly. When you talk about recoil in a 5.56 cartridge, it's extremely minimal to begin with. But when you get into reviewing the intricacies between recoil in 5.56 platforms, you can feel differences, and it is dramatically different between a tuned, adjustable gas, lightened operating system like what is in this particular build from LSA, and a piston system like in the HK.
So that thing is lighter in the front, recoils less, but on the textbook you do have less reliability in harsh conditions.
Correct. I would believe that to be true.
That being said, and I'm an avid consumer of Carl and Ian's InRange. They do a lot of the mud tests. They did do mud tests on the direct impingement system. That had interesting results.
Yeah, seen that as well.
Yeah. Regardless, it's an impressive system. Is it 3,500 impressive? That's up to you guys. Do you enjoy arguing with other viewers on the internet on which rifle performs better on practical accuracy? Well, we have a solution for you. Go to our Patreon page and scroll down. You'll find the Practical Accuracy Scoreboard, where we have ranked and compiled all the data of all the firearms we have tested on the Practical Accuracy course. Furthermore, it's already separated into the different categories, so you can go back to your argument as quickly as possible. And whether you decide to support us via Patreon, subscription, or just a normal viewer, We thank you.
716, this is 096, 4 Vic, 8 packs, Recon 1, green to green. How copy, over?
096, this is 716, roger, over. 16, 091, 1 pack, green, green, over. This is 716, roger, over. 16, 1592, 1 Victor, 2 packs, Recon 1, over.